This is Gary Atensi with CNTV, and today we're in Texas. I'm joined by Nuwave Lending. Since 2018, they're providing a fast, transparent digital mortgage experience backed by superior customer support. I'm joined by Loan Officer Jesse Benavides. Thanks so much for joining us here today, Jesse.
Thanks for having me, Gary.
You bet. You are a graduate of Texas A&M University. You have nearly a decade of combined experience in commercial real estate as well as commercial banking. You're a husband and father who enjoys spending time with your family. Share with me a little bit how you got started in finance.
Yeah, so I was working, originally started in multifamily real estate about a little over 10 years ago, and kind of cut my teeth there learning about asset management, construction management, capital improvements, and that kind of started getting my feet wet in the finance world. Was definitely on the borrower side, learning how to work with financial institutions to secure money for projects. And after about 6 years of that, decided to jump to the other side of the table, started working with a bank, overseeing construction lending, and that's kind of how I got my credit chops and started learning about commercial credit, and that pretty quickly led into residential mortgages.
You definitely have seen some changes throughout the years then. I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm going to start with the elephant in the room. Most home buyers are taken back at the changes we've seen recently in interest rates. For a professional in this field such as yourself, what do you say to these consumers maybe to help put their mind at ease?
Gary, that's a great question. What I tell people most often is if you want to buy and you're able to buy, time is not your friend. So if owning a home is something you're interested in doing and you have the means to do it, you're better off stepping on the escalator of homeownership now and riding that escalator up, because once you step on, you have to do very little work to grow wealth and build equity in your home. If you wait to step on the escalator, maybe rates come down a little bit in the next year, which likely they will, but the home value is likely to continue to appreciate. And in any kind of investment, whether it's real estate, stocks, you want to get in sooner rather than later. And there's always little market conditions that can tweak that. Everybody has their own specific scenario, but generally I tell people, if you're able to and you want to, time is not our friend. Let's do it. Try to do it sooner than later.
That is great. I mean, let's face it, most buyers need a mortgage to buy a home due to the hefty price tag. According to the U.S. Census, that number is 64.8% need a mortgage. I mean, even that number seems a little low in my mind. What states are you licensed in, and are you able to help those that need a loan?
Yeah, so Texas is a primary state that I work in. Our company also has loan officers licensed in Colorado and Tennessee. And I work with buyers and real estate agents all over the state. Most of the major markets, Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin, Houston, San Antonio, Corpus Christi, the Valley, South Texas. And then just as needed, referrals always go a long way. So if someone has family in another city and they give me a call, we make it work.
That is excellent. I mean, step number one really is getting approved. Your company has streamlined that process with technology. I mean, a majority of it can be done online right at your website. Can the approval really be done as quick as 48 hours?
Oh, absolutely. Honestly, the longest piece of the approval process is usually the buyer completing the application and providing docs. Once we get the completed application and some really basic documentation like pay stubs, W-2s, I can do my portion in just a couple hours. And we're able to complete applications online, over the phone, or in person. So, if they're down the street and that in person sitting down together and knocking it out is that personal touch that somebody needs, absolutely an option. These days, a lot of people they say, text me the link or send me an email with the link, and they'll do it at their convenience in the evening. After the kids go down, they'll pull open the laptop and knock it out. It's usually about a 15 to 20 minute process, and then we can regroup the next day. So,
wow, that's impressive. So definitely can hit that mark. It just depends on how quick they can get those documents over and everything's in place. When When buying real estate, time is of the essence. Getting to the closing table can be one of the most stressful times. Why does slowing that process cause problems, and how important is communication throughout?
When you go under contract on a house, you have a date on the contract. And if, as a buyer, you don't meet the requirements to get to the closing table by that date, the buyer is technically in default of the agreement. And so then they're liable, and they have the potential to lose thousands of dollars and not get the house. So it's very important. And this is where a strong lending partner comes in to be able to move through that process quickly and efficiently so that they can close on time, and communicating throughout the process, knowing what are the pieces that we're waiting on next. So me and my team, every Tuesday, I call everybody involved in the transaction, the buyer's agent, and the seller's agent. And I give them an update on where the loan is and where we are in financing. That way, there's no surprises in the 11th hour. If something comes up, it's super common for me to send out a text message or a call on Thursday or Friday just saying, hey, going into the weekend, these are the things that we need to knock out so that we have them ready for Monday morning. And having that level of communication, that little bit of hand holding, so that everybody knows if something does start to go sideways, we know about it a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks before we need to get to closing instead of the day before.
Very transparent all the way throughout. You're not providing a one-size-fits-all solution. You're able to help all types of borrowers. Let's start out with a conventional loan. Do we still see many of those conventional loans used for buying today? And is that an area you can help?
Yeah, so the conventional loan is really the bread and butter in the mortgage world. If you talk to a lender and they don't know how to do a conventional loan, I would suggest you turn around and run the other way. A conventional loan is very competitive in the marketplace. When you make an offer with a conventional loan, it's very attractive to sellers. I would say probably about 60% of my business are 30-year fixed rate conventional loans, and then besides that, we have an entire library of loan products to help people meet their needs, whether it's a non-traditional product like a bank statement loan, a jumbo loan, an I-10 loan, which are all very kind of specialized items, or maybe a more common one like an FHA loan that help people put a little bit less money down to keep more money in their pocket. Those are all in our lending library and all up our alley.
So obviously conventional loans still the bread and butter of the industry. Obviously your years of experience matters with any type of loan, but probably even more so with a jumbo loan. We're talking about a big ticket purchase, requires a big loan. Is this an area that you're familiar with?
Yeah, our company is always looking for the most cutting edge, most competitive products in the jumbo market. And what that means is finding institutions and investors that offer the best rates, have competitive down payment requirements, but also we can use other loan structures. If you're buying a $2 million house, you may have one set of jumbo products that would fit well. But if you're buying a $1 million house, we might get creative and use a piggyback loan and just go with a conventional loan, a second mortgage, and then a smaller down payment. And so there's really a lot of options. And having an experienced, trusted mortgage professional, somebody that is your trusted advisor, is going to go a long way, especially in that jumbo world, because you want to know that they're not pigeonholed into one single jumbo product, but they can go out there and find what the best fit is for you and your specific scenario.
Let me ask you this. Investors in real estate, they may be familiar with the mortgage process, but for first-time home buyers, this is new territory. One of the most popular government loan programs for them is the FHA. Why does this continue to be popular?
Yeah, the FHA is a great loan option. The things that make it more competitive is there's a lower down payment requirement. It typically has a little bit better interest rates. There are some drawbacks on it. It has a mandatory mortgage insurance added to your monthly payment. And so it's kind of we like to weigh the options. The lower down payment and the lower interest rate is very attractive to a lot of first-time home buyers. And it's an easy way, like we talked about earlier, to step on that escalator. It makes the barrier to entry lower so people can get into that home, build that equity, and start to really go down the path of home ownership for the rest of their life. I think if people didn't have access to an FHA loan, it would just keep that barrier to entry higher. It would probably delay, if not make it impossible for some people to attain home ownership as quickly as they are able to otherwise.
Interesting. Are you able to walk the first-time home buyer through the process? And when they begin your 3 easy steps right there on the website, what documents should they have in hand?
Yeah, that's a great question. We go through, I have a 3-step process that I work with on new home buyers. First is a discovery call. Second is a loan application and documents. And third is the loan consultation. The discovery call is really the opportunity to ask all the questions and get to know me as a mortgage professional, share a little bit about your scenario. It helps me anticipate maybe what some of the hurdles will be, what some of the strengths to your file will be, and coach you on here's what to expect next. Really, on that discovery call, I don't expect a first-time homebuyer to have any documentation prepared. But part of that conversation is here's what you can expect to need at the next step. Usually that stuff is bank statements, pay stubs, W-2s, and a copy of your driver's license. It's a really short and sweet list. And if they have that, great. And if they don't, I'll prepare them. I can help them navigate how to put those documents together and how to get them to me. And that's usually how that initial conversation goes.
Now, for someone like myself who doesn't have a W-2, as a self-employed person myself, my income is different than that of employees. Are there loan products that fit better for small business?
Yeah, that's a great question. There are a lot of really good loan products out there for self-employed gig workers or business owners. You know, that makes up, I think in the recent years, it started to make up a lot larger segment of our economy, and it's a lot more common for me to talk to aspiring homeowners, and they say, hey, I own a business, I do XYZ, and I've had people tell me that I can't get a loan. Well, that probably means that that person or that mortgage professional you talked to didn't know of or didn't have access to a loan product that would fit your needs. And the real answer is there's probably something out there that can get you qualified. The most common ones that I look at are bank statement loans and a conventional loan with some taking advantage of some of the guidelines that are set forth where you don't have to use as many years of your tax returns. But typically, we would start with your a business owner's tax returns and look at how did you report your income and how are we able to qualify you. And if that doesn't produce a good result, then we'll look at some of those more non-traditional options. And typically my second step is to say, well, let's talk about how much money your business has made and look at maybe some bank statements and try to qualify your income that way.
I mean, not all borrowing is for new purchases. What about those consumers who want to refinance? Can you offer solutions there as well? And what can the benefits be?
Yeah, refinancing is always a case-by-case scenario. You know, when interest rates last year were super low, and it was 1-2% lower than your current mortgage, then yeah, there's a lot of low-hanging fruit on the tree for you to take advantage of getting a lower monthly payment. In the current interest rate market where rates are a little bit higher, a refinance is really going to be a lot more specific to what is your need, what is your reason for refinancing, what are your goals, and maybe there's an option out there that will help you tap into the equity and the cash that you have in your home without refinancing your mortgage into a higher interest rate. So really, whenever anybody currently, when rates are where they're at today, if somebody calls me about a refinance, I ask them, well, what's your goals? And let's see, that's the product you know about. Maybe there's something you don't know about that I can offer as a solution that will be a better fit. So that's typically recently how I've been approaching the refi questions.
I mean, difficult loans that maybe an inexperienced loan professional may turn down or even refuse. Are you able to take those on? Do you enjoy those challenges, and do you enjoy exceeding the expectations of your clients?
Exceeding a client's expectations always makes me feel good. And having those people call, and typically the phone call I get is actually from the real estate agent. They'll call me and say, Jesse, I've got a home buyer, and they were working with lender XYZ, and then they told them that they're not going to be able to complete the loan or get them approved. Can you take a second look at this? And with our product or our library of loan options and loan products, there's almost always something we can find if they've gotten a few steps down the process that we can help get them to the finish line. And that is definitely, I mean, that's a rewarding feeling, knowing you took something that was maybe a little bit on fire, put the fire out, and now you have a homeowner that is excited about their new home.
Let me ask you this. You have gained knowledge working with commercial real estate and banking in the past. Why was Nuwave a good fit for you?
Yeah, Gary, Nuwave is a great little company in the North Texas area. I've known the owner for over a decade. He was a personal friend and a leader in the church that I was at for a long time. And he's a great man. He's works with a lot of integrity. The culture is really good. And at the end of the day, we have a very competitive operation. So we know what we're doing. We have over 40 years combined experience in the mortgage industry. We have competitive pricing, and we can move quickly to help people be competitive in today's market.
Interesting. I mean, you have served the public professionally and by volunteering your time in various organizations in your church. Is serving the public by helping them buy their first or their next dream property, does that continue to be rewarding for you?
Yeah, serving my community, and I especially love working in the East Dallas area. So helping people buy homes in my neighborhoods, the places that I frequent, the places I go by, is one of the most rewarding things, because it helps me feel connected to the community and know that, my neighbors, the people that are here, have got a good deal on the home they own, and that they're going to be in a good spot for that home with that loan for a long time. And if the market turns and there's a better option, I can help them make sure that their home journey stays on track.
So definitely enjoy being connected to your community down there. Obviously know all the great places to eat. If I'm ever in the area, I'm going to look you up. Viewers, let's take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is their website. On the website, you can learn about all the loan services they provide out there for you. If you're military, they can help with VA loans as well. Make sure and check out the reviews right online. Learn more about the team that's going to be serving you. I mean, this is where really personal service meets technology, offering you a diverse line of products. Getting a great mortgage shouldn't be difficult. Simplicity and speed await you. That is Nuwave Lending since 2018. This is Gary Atencio with CNTV. And if you don't know, now you know.